Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to my elder apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Becharim of the house of David that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these lasting times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation of Yasha'Allah. This is going to be a news and prophecy, all right, slash World War III update. And prophecies are being fulfilled. Rumors of war, all right, which we're going to get into. All right, so there's a couple things I want to get into this article and then a video. As we know, Putin, threatening with military action against the U.S. and NATO, all right, which we'll get into, okay? But this article from Google News, all right, Iran says war games in Gulf were warning to Israel. And Iran, along with Russia, play a major role in the prophecy of World War III. Okay? You see? And actually, let's get it. Okay? Because things are brewing up. All right? First, it has to be the implementation, the mandate of the MOTB, spoken of in Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, which is the RFID, as they call it in Sweden, the NFC, all right? It's a chip, a tracking device, all right, which they'll display all of your information, your writings, all right, on that chip, okay? Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, which happened between 1939, all right, September 1st, when Germany bombed Poland, all right, to 1945, when Esau released his atomic bombs, all right, which it was more than just the fat boy and little boy, all right, but he released them on Japan, all right, which are the Ammonites in the Bible, okay, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, okay, and there were other bombs released as well, but those were the last and the biggest, okay. So the second was passed, all right, World War II, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. It's World War III, and that's the time we're in, all right. We're literally seeing the brewing up of World War III happening right before our face, all right, showing you that the Bible is 100% accurate, okay, and those who have ears, let them hear. So this is from Reuters. It says war games conducted this week by Iran in the Gulf were intended to send a warning to Israel, the country's top military commanders said on Friday, amid concerns over possible Israeli plans to target Iranian nuclear sites. Right. It says the Revolutionary Guard's war games included firing ballistic and cruise missiles. State television showed missiles flattening a target which resembled Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor at the conclusion of the exercises on Friday. Huh. That's where they place a lot of those Israelites who migrated there in the 1960s, which, they were going off, all right? They weren't waiting for the Lord, because we are to wait for Yahweh Shai to take us back to the promised land, all right, to Israel, which that place will be nuked. It'll be cleansed first, and then, we'll get our home back, all right? This whole earth is going to be cleansed with that nuclear fire, man. It's because it's going to hit America, all right? And fire is the best cleansing agent, and that smoke is going to spread, all right? That smoke is going to spread throughout the atmospheres, okay, and cleanse this earth. This whole earth is going to get a remodeling look, all right? It says, through a simulation of the Dimona atomic facilities, the Revolutionary Guards successfully practiced attacking this critical center of the Zionist regime in its missile exercise. The semi-official news agency Tasnim said, "In Israel, which are not God's people, all right, those people over there, the Israelis, they go back to Amalek, all right, one of Esau's grandchildren, okay, but the scriptures say this, okay, Jeremiah 50, verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, which the Heavenly Father's true name is Yahweh, and his only begotten Son is Yahweh Shai, and they look like so called Negroes, that he had taken against Babylon, which is talking about America, all right? Because if you read this chapter, it talks about how this place will be inhabited by desert like creatures and it'll be burned, all right? Babylon will be nuked, all right? It's not talking about ancient Babylon, which is over there in the Middle East, all right, Mesopotamia. That's still inhabited today. It's talking about America. America will be the biggest desert upon the earth after it gets destroyed by nuclear missiles, which will burn for a very long time, all right? And then once that fire settles, then it will be inhabited by desert creatures, all right? The cormorant, you know, all right? It says, let me start again. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, which were a group of people in ancient Babylon who practiced witchcraft, sorcery. And this place, this corporation, because that's all America is, it's a corporation. All right, we're under maritime laws. Okay, you can look it up. That's what this place is established on, is witchcraft through its medium. All right, in the television, that black screen, programming the minds of the people, conditioning their minds to make them feel how they want to feel, all right, to put a state of fear in their minds, all right, to condition the people, to control the narrative, so they can take that, and ultimately take that MOTB, all right, that chip, okay, and that that juice is just a depopulation device, all right, weakens your immune system. And they're going to come out more, and they're going to keep on pushing it. They're not going to stop. It doesn't matter how many juice you take, all right? But it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. That's talking about the Amalekites. That's the least of the flock, okay? The Israelis, the people of Turkey, those are Amalekites. They're the grandchildren of Esau. They're Edomites. Surely he make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations. That's a future prophecy, because this earth will rock to and fro, as the scriptures say, because the impact of the ICBMs. And these nations will, as it says in Revelation, the 18th chapter, they'll cry bitterly because they're not going to make any money off this place anymore, all right? The devastation is going to be so horrific. Okay, but the least of the flock shall draw them out, And what's going on between Israel and Iran, all right? This is all brewing up for World War III. What's going on with Russia? He's going to be a guard unto these nations. And one of them, it says in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, which we'll get, is Persia, which that's Iran. That was changed, their name from Persia to Iran. It was changed in 1935. So it says, where was I at? Okay. These exercises had a very clear message, a serious, real warning to threats by the Zionist regimes, which are the global elites, authorities to beware of their mistakes. Guards Chief General Hossein Salami said on state TV, "We will cut off their hands if they make a wrong move. The distance between actual operations and military exercises is only a change in the angles of launching the missiles," Salami added. Armed Forces Chief of Staff Major General Mohammed Bagherbi said 16 ballistic missiles of different classes had been fired simultaneously and had destroyed predetermined targets. Britain condemned the launch of ballistic missiles during the war games. "These actions are a threat to regional and international security. We call on Iran to immediately cease its activities," the Foreign Office said in a statement. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Saeed Khatibzadeh, Slaki if I butchered that name, all right, I don't speak the Persian language or Farsi, rejected the British statement as meddling in Iran's defensive capacity. State media said Iran said its ballistic missiles have a range of 1,200 miles and are capable of reaching ARC-4 Israel and U.S. bases in the region. Iran has one of the biggest missile programs in the Middle East, regarding such weapons as an important deterrent and retaliatory force against U.S. and other adversaries in the event of war. Israel, which opposes efforts by world powers to revive Tehran's 2015 nuclear deal, has long threatened military action if diplomacy fails. Iran says its nuclear ambitions are peaceful. Okay? And it says down here, Israel is widely believed to be the only Middle Eastern country with a nuclear arsenal. All right, and again, World War III is brewing up. Okay, all these, well, majority of the nations have nuclear capabilities. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 2. "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat," which is Yehoshaphat in the Hebrew. All right, the valley of decision, Yahweh's judgment, because that's where he's going to judge these nations through their militaries when he sends his son to destroy them. "And will plead with them for my people," again, my people, which are who? The Hebrew Israelites, which consist of the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you see, Seminole Indians, West Indians, Haitians, and we have been scattered throughout the earth. So we may even look like the other nations, but your seed line goes back to, if your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then you are an Israelite. "And for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land," right? And they have parted that land. Going back to first, it started with the Balfour Declaration, all right, a letter written to Lord Rothschild to get access and permission to go inside the land. All right, and then what? 1948, May 14th, on Rothschild Boulevard. By the way, that's when they made Israel an independent state, and there was war the first day, which goes against prophecy, because once we get in that land, the scriptures say in Isaiah the 60th chapter there will be no more violence. Isaiah I believe the second chapter as well. How there, let me get it actually. I don't want to butcher it. All right, let's get it. So that shows you that the people of Israel today are not God's chosen people. They are Edomites, Amalekites, who are, covering their heritage behind our heritage. All right. You see, they have stolen, theft our identity. Isaiah 2 verse 4, "And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people." That's Yahushua. And when he comes back, he's going to beam up the elect throughout the four corners of the world. All right. And then when they come back down as gods, we're going to put these nations to flight. We're going to put them in subjection and chains, put them in slavery. All right. "And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." That's a future prophecy. All right. So let's go back to Joel the 3rd chapter, verse 2 again. Right, well, that was it. But go to verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. So that, again, that valley Jehoshaphat, all right, is in the Middle East. That's where all nations, the military that is, it's going to be gathered. That's going to be the hot spot in World War III. So verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Okay, and you see a lot of things brewing up. Again, with Russia, all right, and which we're going to get into, making military threats against NATO, the U.S., Iran, and Israel. Okay, so things are brewing up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So invest more into military might. All right, ICBMs, tanks, fighter jets. All right, drones. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Right, and this is why you're having all these military drills happening. All right, then the NATO military exercises, that happened a few years ago. All right, Russia deploying ICBMs to Belsaurus. So all these nations are getting ready. All right, for war. So now, let's get this video I want to play. 144, call out Yabashi Mashai. So I'm going to read it, all right? It says, in the event of the continuation of the obviously aggressive stance by our Western colleagues, this is Vladimir Putin speaking, by the way, the Russian president. All right, and the video is from Hindustan Times Watch. Putin warns U.S. and West of military measures as tensions rise over Ukraine. All right. It says we will take appropriate retaliatory military technical measures reacting firmly to unfriendly actions. That's a threat. На недружественные шаги жестко реагировать. И хочу подчеркнуть, имеем на это. And I would like to emphasize we have right to do so. Право. Имеем полное право на действие. We have every right to act to ensure Russia's security and sovereignty. Призваны обеспечить безопасность и суверенитет России. Okay. So it says Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that Russia was prepared to take military steps in response to unfriendly Western actions over Ukraine. Putin called for serious negotiations on Russian security demands put to the U.S. and NATO. Putin has also slammed the United States, accusing it of easily going back on international treaties for one or another reason. In the event of the continuation of the obviously aggressive stance by our Western colleagues, we will take appropriate retaliatory military technical measures, reacting firmly to unfriendly actions, said Putin. That's a threat. Meanwhile, United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken said there will be massive consequences for Russia if it engages in further acts of aggression against Ukraine. You see? And Russia, again, plays a major role in World War III. It's going to be a guard unto these nations. Actually, let's get it. That's in Ezekiel 38th chapter. All right. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, that's Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. And say, Thus said the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Your modern day sword is what? The gun. All right. Shields, the bulletproof suits, things of that nature. And just look up the Russian military drills. And no, they don't play. All right. Those are trained killers. And you know, they're gonna be so lucky I lost my train of thought, but they're trained killers, all right? And these nations are training for war, all right? It says, verse 5, Persia, again, Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, that's Turkey, and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. All right? Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. You see? But let's go back to verse 4 again. Let me break that down. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, bringing Russia back to that Soviet state. All right? And that's the whole reason why NATO was created, because Russia was a powerhouse. NATO was created in what? 1949, April 4th. And Russia was a powerhouse, okay? But then they fell, economic collapse, all right? And, they lost power over the countries, they lost power and influence, all right, over the Eastern European countries such as Poland, the satellite states, all right? But now they're going back to that USSR state again. Okay? And Russia's the bear, you see? So things are happening. And Russia's going to be a guard unto these nations. All right? So, yeah, man, we know we're getting close. But first, that has to be, again, the mandate, the MOTB, which we're seeing as well in news. All right? So, yeah, until the next time, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All right? So, until the next time, and shalom.